Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video we are going to be talking about the new Charlotte Tilbury holiday palette. This right here is the Instant Eye palette. Smoky eyes are forever, and I cannot wait to show you guys the swatches. I created 3 looks with it, and just everything you need to know about this palette will be here in this video. So if you guys are excited for it, let's just go ahead and get started. First things first, I would like to apologize on behalf of my hair. The plan is that I'm going to chop it off tomorrow. I have an appointment that is not confirmed, but because I might chop it off tomorrow, I didn't feel like washing it, okay? So I'm sorry. So now let's start talking about this beautiful Charlotte Tilbury palette. This is Charlotte's holiday palette for this year. She usually structures her larger palettes by looks. So this one has 4 different looks. The first 3 shades is a look, the second 3 shades is a look, and so on and so forth. So we have the Love Eyes look, we have the Power Eyes look, the Happy Eyes look, and the Confident Eyes look. Right here in the back of the palette, she explains to you that the first shade of each look is your primer shade, second shade is your enhancer, third shade is your smoke. I used to work at a Charlotte Tilbury counter, so let me kind of explain what that means. The first shade of every look is going to be eyeshadow primer infused, so it works as a nice base for your eyeshadow, and you can of course follow along with the way she wants you to use the palette, or you can just go wild and do your own thing. I usually like to go back and forth in between the shades depending on what I'm in the mood for, but if you like a guidance, then this is very helpful. So the first color of every look, she wants you to put all over your eyelid and even diffuse on your crease. Now it might be counterintuitive for some of these shades, like in the Happy Eyes and Confident Eyes look, they're shimmer shades. Trust Charlotte, okay? You are going to put them all over the eyelid and all over the crease of your eye, and it's going to look good. It's going to look shimmery, but it's going to look beautiful. With the enhanced shade, she wants you to darken up the eye look a little bit more, so you can do outer corner of the eye and crease with it. And then with the smoke shade, she wants you to put it on the outermost corner of the eye and even go underneath your lash line and smoke out the shade. So for the most part, the third shade of every look is going to be the darkest. Again, it doesn't always apply. Like this one right here is really light. I actually used it for inner corner highlighter for most of my looks, but they end up working out. Now I'm going to show you guys my own looks that I created with this palette. I'm going to be showing you 3 of them, including the one I'm wearing right here. And I pretty much used all of the shades in the palette in these 3 looks. I think I might have skipped this darker shimmery green right here, but all of the rest of the shades I did use for my looks, and I really love the way that they came out. Now before we go into those looks, let me tell you a little bit more about this palette. This palette is made in Italy, and it has super rich, super buttery shades for the most part. It has an 18-month shelf life, and I actually quite like the slick black packaging. She usually has gold packaging. Last year's was silver, but I actually really loved when I opened my box and I saw this super nice, slick, shiny black packaging. I don't know, I love Charlotte's rose gold packaging, but this just feels very elegant, and since the palette is called the Smoky Eyes Are Forever, I feel like it's suiting that she made the outer box black. These palettes from Charlotte, by the way, retail for $75 each. Now if you know Charlotte's eyeshadow and her formula, these are going to be some of the most user-friendly eyeshadows you'll ever try. In my opinion, the most user-friendly eyeshadow formula in the market, because everything blends so easily. You barely have to work at it. The shades blend themselves, and they are still super richly pigmented. Trust me, they pack a punch. I mean, you can see the dark smoky eye that I'm wearing right now. So now let me go ahead and show you guys the swatches. Okay, let's see just how creamy these are. So let's start with the Love Eyes section. These are the 3 shades. The middle one is super pigmented. I love it. Okay, here we have the Power Eyes trio, starting with the Taupey Matte, the super creamy shade in the middle. Wow, And the next one, a little bit darker, so obviously you can see these even better. The middle shades so far have been very, very impressive, like the creamiest. Love the color story. Let's do the Happy Eyes trio, starting with this gorgeous shimmer right here. Middle shimmer, so pretty. And the dark matte shade. I feel like that color story we've seen quite a bit from Charlotte, but it is a stunning color story. One of my favorite colors to wear, especially during fall, but I mean I can wear that all year. Who are we kidding? Anyways, love those. Let's do the last trio. Finally, here is the Confident Eyes trio. This black shade is not as pigmented as I thought it would be right away. But now that I think about it, I should have expected a softer black because Charlotte makes her eyeshadows extremely easy to use, and a very intense dark black is not as easy to blend in as a soft black like this one, which you can easily incorporate into an eye look. Okay, so here are all of the swatches. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed by this shade right here because I really expected it to be more impactful than it is. We'll see how it applies on the eyes. I'm sure it'll still be beautiful, but I just expected it to be a little bit more pigmented, kind of like these shades here. Now that you've seen the swatches, I want to clarify, now that I've actually used the palette, that even though the shimmers in this palette have different levels of like creaminess, they all worked really nicely whenever I was using them, from the most creamy shades right down here that you barely have to pick up to swipe, to this one here that I thought was giving me a little trouble because it wasn't going on as like pigmented as I wanted it to. They still all look beautiful once you apply them. Another thing to notice is Charlotte, for the most part, loves her shimmer shades. She usually does a lot more shimmers in the palette than she does mattes. This palette in particular has 5 mattes, which, trust me, is more than she usually goes for. And I'm honestly not mad at all at the matte shades that she shows. I think she shows them very, very well. I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to say, but I cannot remember it right now. So let's just go ahead and get into the eye looks. I'm thinking for the first look, I want to use the little brush that the palette came with, just to show you guys how you can use just one brush to create eye looks if you don't have a bunch of brushes at home, right? So this is just kind of like a round pointed brush, synthetic bristles, fairly soft, and so this is what we're going to be working with. I did already prime my eyes with my Rephr Beauty eyeshadow primer, and from the Love Eyes section I grabbed the first color, which is a really nice light matte shade, and I'm going to use that to set that primer all over. A little bit more of that light shade, and I'm just going to saturate my eyelid and blend it up to the brow, back and forth with the brush. Then I'm grabbing the taupey shade from the Power Eyes, the matte one, and I'm going to build that color on the crease of my eye. So first I'm putting it where I want it, and then I'm going to start blending the edges. And I'm just showing you what you can do with a brush, but trust me that when you have more than one brush with different shapes, especially if they are like the natural hair brushes that I use from Rephr, which I'll use for the rest of the looks, this is a lot easier. It blends a lot faster. But I wanted to definitely show you what you can do if you don't have those. So I'm just using the brush that came with the palette. Okay, so just back and forth with the brush, diffuse that upper edge right there. I grabbed the middle section from the Confident Eyes section, and I'm going to pat it on the outer corner of the eye here. Patting it first and then blending it into our crease color ever so slightly. Then with the tip of my finger I grab the center color from Power Eyes, and I'm going to tap it on the center of my eyelid. Tap, tap, tap it with your finger. So then go back with your brush, nothing added, and just make sure that that edge looks smooth. Pinky finger and the third color from the Love Eyes trio, and that's going to be right here on the inner corner of the eye. Blend it into the green shade. Clean up this outer edge a little bit. And this is the top of the first look. Let me put on some makeup and I'll be right back and we'll finish it up. I'm back with some makeup on. Let's finish up this eye look. I'm grabbing the taupey matte shade from Power Eyes, and with the tip of my blending brush I'm going to smoke it out right here underneath my eye. Back and forth with my blending brush. adding a little bit more for intensity right here and diffuse everything. The third color from Love Eyes right here on the tip of my pinky, right underneath my tear duct area a little bit. Here's a Chanel eye pencil in Black Jade number 99. I put it in the waterline of my eye, and I think I want to put it right here as well. I'm going to blend it with my finger since I'm not going to use any brushes. Okay, here we go. So this is the eye look before mascara and lashes. Let me go ahead and put on some of that, and I'll be right back and I'll show you the final first look with this palette. Here I am, mascara and lashes on, and this right here is the final first look with this beautiful palette from Charlotte. I apologize for not coming in with just mascara on. I was totally going to do it, but somehow I just got into the lash application and I completely forgot that I wanted to show you just with my regular lashes. But you know, without the fake lashes, it just looks like it normally would look without the fake lashes. I don't know. This is the final first look with this palette, and let's move on to look number 2. For my second look, I'm going to start with the same color, the first color from Love Eyes. And I'm using a Rephr number 15 brush to just blend it everywhere. Same number 15 brush and the third color from Happy Eyes, and I'm going to start on the outer V of the eye right here and then start blending that color into the crease. And I'm still using my Rephr number 15 brush, which is the best. I love it. Blend, 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 back and forth. You can do windshield wiper motions, and I also like to do like little circles right here on any edges. And I feel like that really helps to move the product around and blend it out nicely. I'm going to darken this up a bit with the black shade, and I have my Rephr number 14 brush for this. So first putting it on the outer corner of the eye, and then with little circles around the edge, I'm going to start building it into the crease ever so slightly. And back with the Rephr number 15, nothing added to it. I'm just going to really smoke that out. This is so grungy. I love it. Center color from Happy Eyes right in the center of the eyelid here, and I'm tapping it with my finger. Tap, tap, tap it. Blend it into the black shade back here. Back with my Rephr number 14, nothing added, making sure everything blends nicely. Then with my Rephr number 2, I have the first color from Happy Eyes, and I'm going to use that one on the inner part of the eyelid right here. Okay, that is so freaking beautiful. I'm going to use this center color from Love Eyes as an inner corner right there. Cleaning up right underneath my eye with a wipe. And this right here is the top of the second look. I'm going to put on some makeup and I'll be right back and we'll finish it up. Back with some makeup on, and I'm going to use the center color from Love Eyes right here underneath my tear duct area to kind of round up this inner corner highlight. And now with that same number 26 brush, I grabbed the matte color from Happy Eyes, and I'm going to smoke it out right underneath my lower lash line. Back and forth with the tip of my Rephr number 26. A touch of the black shade, and I'm going to also smoke out the outer corner of the under eye with it. And honestly, I have no complaints about the black in this palette because even though it's swatched poorly, it blends so easily into the eye looks. With my Rephr number 14, I grabbed the light shade from Love Eyes, the matte, and I'm going to smoke out this lower lash line with it. I went back and I grabbed a teeny tiny bit of the matte shade from Happy Eyes, and with the number 14 brush, I am smoking it out. Okay, so here's my second look with this palette. Let me go ahead and put on some mascara and lashes, and I'll be right back and I'll show you the final results. Okay, I'm back with look number 2 right here, mascara and lashes on. I actually did looks 1 and 2 at the same time, so I forgot to film with just mascara on for this one too, but I'll do it for look number 3, I promise. I love the intensity of the black shade in the palette and how smoky it made this look for sure. Again, for some reason I thought it was going to be a disappointing black because it really didn't swatch well, but once you put it on your eyelid with a fluffy brush, you have zero problems whatsoever. It blends out easily, very nice, and still pretty intense black. Let's move on to the third and final one. Let's get started with the third and last look. I'm going to once again begin by just putting that cream shade all over the eye here. I'm diffusing back and forth with my Rephr number 15 brush. Then I'm grabbing the middle shade from Confident Eye and I'm putting it right here on the outer corner of the eye. And with the tip of the brush, I'm going to start blending it into the crease. Just back and forth diffusing with the tip of my Rephr number 15. Okay, so this is how things are looking so far. I grabbed the first color from Confident Eyes and I'm going to pat it right here over the edge of the brown shade. Just tapping it with my finger. Then I'm going to grab the middle color from Love Eyes and I'm going to tap it on the inner part of the eyelid here. Again, just patting it with my finger, and I'm going to just leave the inner corner blank, just like that. Then with my Rephr number 26, I grabbed the third color from Love Eyes, which is this beautiful shiny shade, and that's going to be the inner corner highlighter. And I'm also going to blend it right here into the top of the eyelid. I tapped my number 14 brush into the black shade and I'm going to intensify this outer corner here with the tip of my Rephr number 14 and a little bit of the black shade. Okay, so this is the top of the third look. Let me go ahead and do my face makeup and I'll be right back and I'll finish it up. Back with makeup on, and I went ahead and used my Pillow Talk eyeliner in the waterline. I also used this one for look number 2 and totally forgot to mention it. So Pillow Talk eyeliner is what's in my waterline right now. I'm going to grab the third color from Love Eyes and kind of round up this inner corner, blend it right underneath my tear duct area a little bit. Same brush in the middle color from Confident Eyes, and I'm going to smoke out my lower lash line back and forth with my Rephr number 26. I love this matte color. It's like in between a brown and a burgundy. It's beautiful. And I'm going to smoke it out with a clean number 14 brush by running the brush back and forth through the edge of the color. Here's the third look finished. I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like with mascara on. I didn't forget this time. This is me back with just mascara on. So take a look. I'm going to do some falsies for this look as well, and I'll be right back to show you the final third look. Back with mascara on, and here is the final third look with this beautiful palette. My lash glue is still drying, so you can kind of see it there. But another beautiful look with this palette. I'm back and I really hope that you guys liked the 3 looks that I created. I personally really love them. I like going all over the palette, and if you want to stick to Charlotte's rules, then you can create the 4 looks that she wants you to create. And if you want to be a little bit more wild, you can follow my tutorial. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys the packaging of the palettes that I have from Charlotte. And these are it right here. So this one down here is the holiday palette from last year, and you can see how it has like a fun design in the front. This one here is her rose gold packaging, and this is the Pillow Talk palette, and then this one up here, the new one from this year. I don't know. I really did like the black. I'm not upset at it. I think it looks nice and fun and elegant. But last year's packaging was really beautiful as well. As far as comparisons go, here's what the new palette looks like next to the Pillow Talk palette. I would say the first 3 shades are kind of similar, especially because they have the same color story. There's just different mattes and shimmers in each ones. And then this matte color and that matte color look quite similar as well. I went ahead and swatched the 2 trios. So the first 3 shades right here are from the Pillow Talk palette, and the second 3 shades are the ones from the new palettes. So you can see that they have similar vibes, but they are different. And then let me do this color right here from the Pillow Talk palette next to this one right over here. And with those as well, you can see that they are a little bit different. The one from the Pillow Talk palette is a lot lighter. This one right here, it's a little bit more on this smoky side. Alrighty, so here it is next to last year's holiday palette at the bottom. So slightly different color stories. I think there might be a couple of shades that are similar, like this light pinky shade. Okay, I'm turning it to the side because I feel like you can see it better. So this middle pink shade with that middle pink shade, or even this shade right here, right? And then maybe this purpley shade with this purpley shade. Here are the purpley shades next to each other. This is the one from this year's palette, which is a lot more sheer. And then the one from last year's palette packs more of a punch. These are both from last year's palette right here, the light pinky shades. next to the one from this year's palette. There's super slight differences in the undertone, but for the most part, those do look the same. Here's the Walk of No Shame eyeshadow quad next to this trio right here. I'm not going to do swatch comparisons because I do think that they are a little different. Walk of No Shame has a lot more red in it, and this one's a little bit more of a warm orangey shade. This right here is the Pillow Talk quad on top of the light color from this year's palette. See, I feel like these, you can see them better when I turn them to the side. Slightly different colors, and the Pillow Talk palette has two really nice matte shades that this one doesn't. Even the shade that looks the most similar, which is this one and this one here, they're not going to be the same because this formula right here is more of like a glimmery type of formula, and this one packs quite a bit of a smooth, shiny punch. Here's the glimmery shade from the Pillow Talk palette and the shiny punchy one. And then here's the Fire Rose quad next to the new palette. I'm grabbing a little bit of here and this one. Slightly different undertones, but really nice rosy shades in both cases. These are not going to be the same, but just to show you guys. This is the one from Fire Rose. This is the one from the new palette. So the one from Fire Rose is a lot more rosy, and the one from the new palette is a bit more orange. And then I'm going to do this one here to this one here. And you can see that shimmer from the Fire Rose palette really is not playing. It's beautiful next to the one from the new palettes. I think I went through all of the main Charlotte palettes that I have to kind of pull comparisons from. I don't have everything Charlotte has ever released, so I'm sorry if I missed something, and I really hope that was somewhat helpful. So let me give you guys my final thoughts on this palette. I definitely don't think that any of these are something that we haven't seen before from Charlotte, because even though I didn't have a swatch comparison for everything, I know that she has products in her collection that already mimic these colors. Like even the green shades, I know that in one of her past holiday releases she had some greens. She also has the Rebel quad, which has some similar looking greens to this one. I feel like this color story right here, we see it in every other launch from Charlotte, as well as the light pinky and the champagne shades. However, when I look at a palette, I don't think of my collection or anybody's particular collection, because most people don't buy every palette that comes out. So I honestly really did like this color story. I like the way that she laid it out. I like that we have different options of looks. Like in today's video, I created 3 completely different looks that don't have anything to do with one another, using the different themes that this palette gave me. And so for that reason, I really do like this palette. I think it's going to be extremely travel friendly as well, because these are super thin, slim palettes that will kind of fit everywhere. And you have so many different shades to choose from in here if you're going anywhere that will match a bunch of different outfits. Besides that, it obviously has Charlotte Tilbury's amazing formula. Even the colors that I thought I wasn't going to love the performance of because they didn't swatch nicely, worked nicely at the end on the eyes, which is what matters. And everything was very pigmented, very shiny, and extremely blendable. I do like that she included a few more mattes in here than she usually does. The one palette that has the most mattes for her bigger palettes is the Pillow Talk one, but out of the ones in this format, I feel like this one has a really fair amount of mattes, and especially if you're kind of going all over and mixing and matching like I did. You have colors for your transition, for your base, to smoke it up, to darken it up, and then you have different tonalities of shades within the color story of this palette right here, which I really appreciate. Charlotte's palettes are a little bit more on the pricey side. You do pay $75 for this one, but like I always say, Charlotte formulas are amazing. They blend beautifully. I feel like with her formulas, makeup beginners, people who are not as experienced with makeup, can make eyeshadow looks absolutely stunningly beautiful because these shades blend so easily. Plus, she gives you really simple steps to follow so that you know exactly what you want to do with her shadows. I think this is what I was trying to say earlier and I completely forgot, and that is that even though she puts a lot of shimmers in her palettes, these shimmer shades work on aging eyes. So if you're concerned about these shimmers and you have lines on your eyelids, I wouldn't worry about it, because Charlotte's eyeshadows are designed to work on all skin types, including aging skin. The shimmers in this palette will absolutely look fantastic even if you have wrinkly eyelids. Trust me on that. Obviously, if it's some sort of insecurity and you've just sworn off shimmers and you only do mattes, then, you know, don't get a palette that you don't think you're going to like. But if you're wanting to try shimmer, or if you miss using shimmer shades because you're sticking to mattes because you don't want anything to make the lines more obvious, then go for Charlotte eyeshadow formulas, because I promise you that they don't make the lines on your eyelids look any worse. Anyways, I love you guys so much. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Before you leave, if you're new to my channel, please don't leave without subscribing. If you're interested in purchasing the palette, by the way, I forgot to say this, please shop my links down in the description box. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you back in my next video. Bye!